Wait, who has been to Kama? I wanted to see the hands. Who hasn't? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I feel like half and half or more of us. Well, it's a Monday night, and you have shown up here for a talk on pleasure. To me, that's already a win. And really excited to, oh good, the slides are up. Really excited to share on a topic that, depending on how it resonates with you, we may not necessarily think of pleasure as something that fits into the category of healing. So I tried to name this in as efficient of a way as possible. Pleasure, the guilt-free gateway to total freedom. Reclaiming pleasure as a pathway to healing, prosperity, vitality, and authentic expression. Oh, who knew? Ah, I like that sound. The sound of no sound. So, firstly, has anybody been to a tantra workshop that I've guided here at Kama? Yeah, some of us. Yeah, beautiful, awesome. So I always weave some of these teachings in, but sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time to share about the science of pleasure, because I know for myself, I grew up with a lot of shame, and anything having to do with the P word was dangerous and not okay. So for a moment, I invite you to just close your eyes and just feel yourself here. Feel yourself landing here at Kama, whether you've been here before or not. It's now, it's Monday evening, you've made the time in your day, you've carved out the time, and I invite you to simply be present so that you can fully receive whatever you are meant to receive from this talk. My aim is not to talk at you, but for you to be receptive and interactive and truly gain something from this experience that stays with you. So let's just take a deep breath in together, filling up. Hold it for a second at the top. And let out a little sigh. Feel yourself on the chair. Feel the air on your skin. Feel your body. A few breaths just to ground, just to really get present. And as you're settling into this space, I invite you to simply reflect on what inspired you to be here tonight. Did somebody tell you about this talk? Do you work here and you have no choice? Whatever it is. Like, I trust always in these types of gatherings and constellations, I trust that we're all meant to be here. There's a gem of nourishment or more for each of us. So just tuning in to the curiosity, tuning into the inquiry around this topic. And as you're dropping in, I invite you to tune in to the word pleasure. Just to the word. And when you tune into the word, when you feel, you can use your breath here, softening the belly, relaxing tension in the face. When you simply reflect on the word, what do you feel in your body? What do you feel in your mind? So I'm actually going to open this for just a moment to you. If there's any words or images or thoughts that come forth when you reflect on the word pleasure, anybody want to say anything? Yeah, you don't even have to raise your hand. Oh, wow, beautiful. Okay, body says calmness and brain says chaos. Amazing, this is wonderful. We're going to get into the brain and body relationship not too long from now. Anyone else? You can just shout it out. Like, what comes up for you?
Limited.
What was it? Libido?
Limited.
Oh, limited. Limited. Okay.
Sex.
Sex?
It's libido. It's a God-given thing.
God-given thing.
Just we're supposed to all experience pleasure.
Thank you for supporting the deepest foundation of this talk. Yes. It's a God-given thing. It's our birthright. It's innocent. And it's healing. So, I know for me, if I were to reflect on this word not too long ago, and honestly, sometimes there's a little bit of residue of it because of conditioning and experiences of life and the way that pleasure, especially somatic pleasure, physical pleasure, tends to be portrayed in our world. Shame, guilt, hello. Like, we have a term. guilty pleasure. Can we take that and throw it in the trash? Because it's perpetuating a narrative that is so far from the truth. And to the extent that we fall into that, we are shortchanging ourselves from our power, from our potential. And this is not only in our potential to feel good, but why is feeling good good? We're going to get into that in a second, okay? So, what is pleasure? We can go to the next slide after this slide. Okay, so there are several types of pleasure, and I like to break this down because if I immediately think, oh my God, pleasure is sexual. Yes, and there are so many different forms of pleasure. Everyday pleasure, simple stuff, like coming to Kama for this talk. Anything that allows you to thoroughly enjoy the present moment. That can be a warm cup of tea, watching the sunrise, going for a hike, gazing into your lover's eyes, whatever you love to do, smiling for no reason, it does help. Taking a walk, all of these things. So the simple things, I would say that in a really busy life, when we have so much on the to-do and we're thinking of the next thing, it can be sometimes, it can be easy to forget to pay attention to the simple things. It can be your breath. It can be anything. Sensual pleasure. So there's a big difference between sensuality and sexuality. We have 5 primary senses. Some would beg to differ, myself included. We have 6. We got this opening right here in our third eye, our psychic perception. To open up our senses, I've been teaching yoga for 22 years, and when I started teaching yoga, I took it so seriously. One of the precepts of yoga is called pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the senses. Withdrawing the senses so that we can remember who we really are, which is not the body. Yes, and I have a body for a reason. It's a vehicle for my soul. And it comes fully equipped with so many different, it's like a technology. It's the ultimate AI, is this thing right here. We haven't necessarily been taught. We've been taught a lot of, stuff to memorize in our minds, but not necessarily how to relate with or utilize the energy and the technology that we've been given. So to awaken the senses is to awaken pathways of greater creativity, intuition, joy, potential, power, and self-remembering. So that's the gateway of the senses, our eyes, the sound, what we're hearing. All of this is food. All of this is a form of nourishment and nutrition. Scent, eyes, ears, touch, all of this. And of course, we have, and a fluffy blanket, taking a hot bath. So, when I talk with clients I'm working with about adding more pleasure in their lives, usually the response is, okay, I'm going to take a bath, I'm going to get a massage. Yes. And let's not forget about sexual pleasure. And for whatever reason, it has the shortest description, but it's a big deal because our sexual energy is our creative energy. And if we've ever experienced any type of shame or trauma around our sexuality, then even if it does feel good for us, we may not know how to be with it and cultivate it and utilize it for our life pursuits. It's literally magic. It's the key to magic, to real magic and miracles in life. So sexual pleasure, we all know what that is, which involves cultivating your sexual energy either solo or with a partner. And in fact, I'd say solo and with a partner, regardless of if you have a partner. Self-pleasure is a must. Okay, so are you enjoying all 3 types of pleasure? Just take a moment to tune in, to reflect. Remember, we have the everyday pleasure of oh my gosh, it's just a simple thing, and I'm drinking my tea, which is, also a little bit of a sensual experience. And if not, which ones are lacking? How can you prioritize more? This is just for you to tune into. Okay, we can go to the next slide now. So we have a lot of benefits of pleasure. When I speak of pleasure, especially in this context, because it's easier to go get a massage. It's easy to take a bath. It's easy to go for a hike. Like, do all of the things that bring you joy. Smell a flower, buy yourself flowers, wear clothes that make you feel yummy and sensual, which can change, throughout the day. But notice the little things, because you deserve to feel good. And we'll go into the energetics of feeling good shortly. But there are benefits. I know for myself, because I come from a background of a lot of sexual trauma and shame and so much disconnect from my body and from pleasure. Like, pleasure equals danger, whether or not it's God-given. So I needed to learn the scientific benefits and even the spiritual benefits in order to be open-minded enough to start to soften the armor that had built up over many years, potentially even lifetimes, and believe in my potential to experience pleasure. Because there was a part of me that was so closed down for so long that I actually didn't even think it was biologically possible. I was okay with that. Didn't have an orgasm till I was 35 years old, internally. So I didn't think I was wired for it, nor did I even understand or know the therapeutic benefits of cultivating pleasure sensually and sexually. Skin, somatic pleasure in the body. I want to just bring that forth as it relates to the type of pleasure that I'm speaking about mostly this evening, because it tends to be, for some of us and some of us not. You might experience amazing pleasure and not even realize that it is one of the most powerful supplements you could ever be taking, vitamin P. So yay to get it inspired and choose to integrate more of it into your life, because if there's any residue of shame, that takes us away from the full healing benefits of it. And the more empowered, pleasure-filled beings there are on this planet, I believe that our entire world can change for the better. And we need it. Okay, so these are some of the simple benefits of pleasure as it relates to those 3 types of pleasure that I just shared with you. Relieve stress and anxiety. I had a client this morning, and we were talking about adding pleasure to her life because she has a lot of stressful stuff going on right now. She said, I have too much going on right now. I would feel guilty to incorporate that, plus I have no time. I had to try to get through to her in such a way. It's like, when you do this, even if it's 10, 20 minutes a day of self-massage, self-pleasure, just activating the energy, this is going to regulate your nervous system. This is actually going to decrease your stress. So it's like we have to, that the understanding, the knowledge of that is the first step. Improve circulation. Just notice how you feel after an orgasmic experience, or after a massage, or after something that truly brings you joy, to the extent that you give yourself permission to do that. Like, with full presence, not rushing through something and then feeling bad and then having to earn it again. Earning pleasure is also going to go into the trash. We start with pleasure. We all are worthy of pleasure. Like, we come from it, technically. If we really tune in, technically, it's like the essence of why we're here. And that is actually more of the tantric philosophy, that life is here to be experienced sensually while we're here, because eventually we won't be in a physical body. We all know this. So while we're here, can we really smell the flowers fully and taste the food fully and feel our physical bodies fully? Supports hormonal regulation. This is more in the orgasmic realm. Stimulates neuroplasticity, enhances brain function, reduces inflammation, increases vitality and longevity. Let's go on. There are some more benefits. So there's neuroscience of pleasure. I like this. So pleasurable experiences, especially somatic pleasure, has a very positive effect on dopamine. Dopamine is the thing that we also might get from scrolling on social media. Let's not put that into the category of pleasure, because we're going to talk in a moment about pleasure that we choose for awakening versus pleasure for distracting. There's a distinct difference between the two. It has to do with awareness and consciousness. Dopamine is that activation that's about learning, reward, and motivation. Oxytocin, you know this is that cuddle hormone. It's that bonding chemical. Trust, bonding, emotional connection. It stimulates endorphins. This is all about reducing pain. And again, as mentioned, reducing inflammation, regulating the nervous system. Serotonin, literally production of serotonin through connecting with pleasure in our bodies, which regulates our mood and boosts our confidence. And at the same time, lower cortisol, higher parasympathetic nervous system, I mentioned that, and greater emotional resilience. We'll get to this next part in a second. So we'll do one more slide on the benefits of pleasure because I have to convince you of the benefits of pleasure. Pleasure is not a luxury. I just mentioned this. It's not something that you earn. And now that could be a cycle. It's like, all right, I just worked so hard today. I deserve this. Like you actually deserve it first because the pleasurable activity is the thing that's going to give you the energy and the fuel to actually be fully resourced to continue to show up and serve with confidence, with a sense of presence, with a sense of light, literally, that emanates and can be felt. Research links regular pleasurable experiences with lower stress, better heart health, improved immune function, better sleep, greater creativity, decision-making, healthier relationships, and increased resilience. Are we convinced? There's one more that I really love. So this is all about the vagus nerve. So we had a little moment of the brain. No, it was the body is calm, and the brain is chaos. Well, very interesting because the brain and the body are technically connected through a nerve pathway called the vagus nerve. Recent research has shown. Previously, it was thought that the vagus nerve runs from the brainstem to the digestive tract. It's been recently confirmed that the vagus nerve runs from the brainstem all the way down to the sexual organs. And there are practices, so many, you can vagal nerve practices, to activate, regulate, awaken, cohere this very potent energy channel that is really, it's a communication between the brain and the body. As I understand, it's like the brain can have one idea, the body has a different idea. How can I allow myself to feel this? How can I empty my mind enough so that I can actually be in my body? How can I get out of my mind enough and feel safe enough in my body to experience pleasure, which I would actually put in the category of meditation. Pleasure, actually. We can go back. Yeah, pleasurable experiences, especially physical. Somatic pleasure helps to stimulate the vagus nerve. A well-regulated vagus nerve is associated with lower anxiety, better digestion, healthier heart function, emotional flexibility, and stronger social connection. And we're going to do a little practice toward the end of activating the vagus nerve, which I'll talk about in a second. I don't want to give away too much. I get excited. Okay, so using pleasure to awaken versus distract. Hopefully it's a little bit obvious right now, the way that I'm speaking about pleasure, that when we're aware of some of these benefits, when we even just choose to even be open to this topic of pleasure as something that's it's not just because it feels good, it's because it's literally biologically supportive to our system. It's God-given. It's our birthright, and it can be the key to awakening so much dormant potential. So much dormant potential. I don't know about you, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's kind of by design that we haven't been taught this. Because then if we're in our full power, we know our bodies, we know our pleasure, we are unstoppable. The creative energy is unstoppable. Our capacity to be completely sovereign and self-sufficient is completely online. We can't be controlled. That's a threat to society. That's like the biggest threat. And as mentioned earlier, it's time. So I think it was actually in the podcast that we did here. I did a podcast interview on, what was that even on? Pleasure. I think it was on pleasure. What do you know? We're just going to go with that. And And I think, Kyla, you asked a really good question. It was one of the questions, and it was about, what's the difference, though? Because sometimes people use pleasure to stay distracted or to numb, right? So I really want us to kind of tune into this and think about this deeply. Same client I was talking with earlier today will use sweets, for example, as her evening pleasure practice. It's like a pint of ice cream. I worked very hard today, and I'm going to have my pint of ice cream. In the moment, it might feel good. But is the intentionality there, or is it used as an escape or something to balance out a severely incoherent reality? There's no shame in this. There's no judgment in this. There's just, wow, isn't that interesting? It's like a subtle difference, but a very important difference, because you can actually be having that same ice cream consciously, maybe not the whole thing, but like eating it slowly. When you're eating it, and you say, when you have it, because the stimulates the vagus nerve, and you're present with it. You're not rushing because you know you shouldn't, and then you have a bellyache, and then like it was nice while it lasted, but now I have to suffer the consequences. Yes? I want to know about the work against the consequences. Yeah. Oh, work against the consequences, as in like not allowing it to affect your health because you're taking steps toward it. If that works for you, that works. It's really more, because that's more like on a physical level, potentially. You're balancing it out. I totally understand. And then we'll go a layer deeper. Mind. How do you feel in your mind? Do you feel like you're controlled by these impulses or cravings, or do you feel empowered to choose, and do you feel good? Mind and body, right? Before, during, and after. Before, during, and after. So it's not really what the source of pleasure is, it's the mindset going into it. I don't think anything is inherently, I want to say like good or bad, wrong or right. It's really our intentionality behind it. And what am I using this for? Like, I actually feel like there could be conscious scrolling. Conscious scrolling. I have 10 minutes a day of an Instagram meditation. Like I'm aware of my breath. I'm observing. I am just like in it. It's like it's not taking me into some other dimension, like literally hijacking my consciousness. And then before I know it, oh crap, the bag is empty, right? I ate the whole thing, or I binge watched 20 episodes. Like I really told myself just one, right? So it's not about an all or nothing. It really is about mindfulness. That's the shift. And so it kind of doesn't matter what you're doing, it's the awareness. Now, the more aware we are, especially when we're experiencing, let's say, physical pleasure, the more we're going to feel everything. I want to make a point that's really important. Actually, you know what? I think it's a slide. Let's see what the next slide. Oh, look it's the next slide. So, who knew? On the road to pleasure, I shared briefly. I don't like to share just my story, but I do like to use it as some reference points because I've been in a completely pleasure void reality for the early part of my life and reawakened it. So, like, I know through experience and through doing somatic work that we can, for lack of a better term, turn ourselves on again in any and all capacities. Because the thing is, the entire physical body is wired for pleasure. I'm not talking just one part or a couple parts. The entire body, from the tip of your head, the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, is wired through nerve pathways, through erogenous zones, through subtle energy channels that can be studied. All of this is like ancient wisdom. Now, well, if someone touches me, I don't feel much. I don't feel anything, or it annoys me. I know someone who she's like, I don't like to be touched. I don't want to get a massage. I don't want to be touched. To me, that's a trauma response. That's not a bad thing. It might not even be a conscientious knowing on that person's part that they don't like to either touch themselves or be touched. Because who knows, this lifetime or another lifetime, their boundaries may have been crossed, and there may have been something that happened unconsensually that causes the body to literally armor itself. It creates an armor. It's like an energetic shield of protection to keep you safe, and then we can't feel. But because we're human beings and we're so evolutionary and everything is bound to change to the extent that we're open to it, we can heal this armor. We can heal numbness. We can even heal pain, but not through avoiding it. Not through trying to skirt it, but going directly into it. Because 99.9% of the time, below pain or numbness, and let's talk about that physically in the body, anywhere in the body, is mind-blowing volcanic ecstasy. For every single body. This applies if I work with a lot of women, if you've had hysterectomy, this applies post-menopause. Like, there's no excuse or reason why, whatever you've been through in your life, you're wired for it until the day that you are no longer in the body. And who knows, maybe even after that, maybe it's even more, we don't know, right? So it might sound counterintuitive. Pain and pleasure are two sides of the same coin. And if I want to feel more joy, I must allow myself to be fully expressed in whatever I maybe wasn't able to feel in another moment, or any emotions that I've been suppressing. If I'm only trying to feel good, but I'm denying, let's call it the shadow or darker emotions, then we're also shortchanging ourselves. Pain, emotion, grief, sadness, anger. Do you want to know what that is? Those are the roots. Those are the roots. So if you want to feel, all of that, let yourself go down. Establish those roots. There's nothing to be scared of. And I promise you, I can promise you, your body's going to respond. It's going to say, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for giving me attention and not ignoring me. And next slide, because I just briefly touched on it. As it relates to a body being armored or numb, or there being pain, which I know for myself, it used to be completely that. I mentioned it could be some sort of trauma. The word trauma is like very trendy right now, and it's also it can feel very heavy. I like to make things light. I believe that becoming a human being is a traumatic experience. You're like in the universe, just one with everything, and then all of a sudden, not for you though, I promise, not for you. It's gonna be good for you. It's very different here. Like all of a sudden you're like, I have to be physical now, but I am vast, I am the universe, and now I have to come into form and feel all this stuff. And so, it's not like, I believe that we all have some aspect of it, just the very fact of, living in society. But it's amazing to me because we can transform any type of traumatic experience. So trauma, just to kind of put it into perspective, is any event or experience that was too much for the nervous system to handle. I don't quantify trauma as like, oh, that's a really bad one, versus like, whatever. It's about how your system handles it. Like, how sensitive are you? Like, we all have different energetic systems in terms of how we process life. Like, I know I need 3 hours at least of alone time per day, like quiet alone time, otherwise I get anxious. Tends to happen when our nervous system is less resilient or compromised, such as being very young, very old, during or after sickness, pregnancy, postpartum, times of big change, or after a shock. Trauma can cause an individual to operate in fight or flight as if the threat is still present. And that's where especially the body, unless and until we tend to the body lovingly, can be holding these old patterns, and then we form a belief system that we're not capable of experiencing pleasure or whatever it may be. And it can also create tension and stagnation in the body if not integrated. And I use the word integrated instead of released because I don't feel like It's not about like releasing something. It's part of us. It's experiential, and we can transmute and alchemize everything into light. That's really what it's all about. Okay. Oh God, we're here already. Okay. There's something else I wanted to share because we're gonna like move a little bit. One more thing I wanted to share. I said earlier, why is it important to feel good? Why is it important? So, has anybody studied with Joe Dispenza or is familiar with Joe Dispenza meditation? So I love Joe. I love Dr. Joe. I've assisted his meditation retreats, and I really appreciate the fact that his style is such that it's not just visualizing something or completely going off into outer space. He brings it down to the heart a lot. He brings it down. If there's anything that you want to generate in your life or manifest in your life, instead of just thinking about it, start to feel the emotions associated with that thing. Like actually let go of the thing and tune into the emotions. Tune into the heart space. The heart space is really the gateway of emotion. So like literally, how will you feel? How do you want to feel? Let go of the what and connect with the feeling. So that's a step on the path of moving from the head, thinking about it, to the heart, feeling it emotionally. However, and there's another drop that often gets overlooked, which is the drop from the heart into the body. And that's where, if I'm holding tension, stagnation, knowingly or unknowingly in my physical body, as much as I think and feel and attempt to get into what I want to get into through those faculties, without the full embodied yes, the energy of potential of what I truly desire, because that desire is a seed that lives in you. There's a reason that you want the things you want. It's because it's already a part of you. It's trying to find you. It's trying to align with you. When you're receptive, when your channels are open, mind, heart, and body, it's like, it's a miracle. It finds you. So we've got this, and then as we start to connect with the body, we start to feel good. If you've ever studied or heard about the law of attraction, right? Like attracts like. When I feel good, I'm not just forcing myself to repeat an affirmation because the words sound nice. No, like it's a vibration. My whole being is like a yes. Look at a flower blossoming, right? Feel that energy of beauty and sensuality and pleasure, actually, that's all around us. That's another piece. It's easy to see the world as darkness. It's just as easy to see the world as light. And it's the same thing as like, what angle, what direction am I choosing to view life from? And as mentioned earlier, if not now, I don't know when, but our world is in need of this sacred remembrance that pleasure is our birthright. It produces a bioenergetic frequency and a magnetic field that allows us to attract and align with more of what we desire in ways that we cannot plan for logically. This is the miracle field. It is the gateway to the miracle field. Mindful pleasure. Mindful pleasure. Like, take your time with all the things that bring you joy. Okay, so let's just take a moment. Close your eyes. Feel your seat. Feel your shoulders melting away from you. Feel your jaw unclenching, even though I know it wasn't clenched to begin with. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And a little sigh. Oh, we are fantastic professional sighers. Amazing. So I spoke briefly about the vagus nerve earlier, and I appreciate your receptivity, your phenomenal listening skills, and I hope and trust that whatever you are meant to receive from this talk, each of you is going to receive that specific nugget in your own unique way. That will continue to digest. And I always like to teach or guide or share some sort of embodied experience to take us from our heads into our bodies and feel safe enough to actually know this not just on a mental level, but on a physical level. When I spoke about the vagus nerve, the sound is very important. So this sigh that you're all very expert at is it vibrates the vagus nerve. It calms the central nervous system and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. Sound, softening all these muscles of the throat, softening the belly is your own sound. Forget a sound bath. Forget a Tibetan bowl or a crystal bowl. You have that inside of you. That recalibrates your entire internal energetic field and turns on the capacity for more pleasure in your body. There's a lot in the world of sensuality or sexuality of fake, performed sound. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something that's so primal, that's so deep, that's so uniquely you. It's your sacred sound. It's like your blueprint. It's like your mark on this planet. We all have it. It's our vibration. And so the 3 keys to ecstasy, to opening up channels of pleasure, insight, energy, creativity, getting out of the mind and into the body. These are like the meditation techniques that aren't so popular as it relates to just sitting and being silent and not moving. No. This is the opposite. This is a moving meditation, dynamic meditation. If you've been to a Tantra workshop with me, you know what this is all about. The 3 keys to beginning this process of awakening more pleasure in the body is breath, sound, and movement. Activating our energy through these 3 keys, which are miracles that we have this breath, we have the capacity to make sound, and we can move our bodies and literally shake shit up, shake shit off, and let that be the thing. So, my suggestion for us in this very moment is to do a shaking meditation. Oh my God. You're going to shake off the Monday. You're going to actually, believe it or not, you're going to shake off everything you just heard. And you're just going to let it kind of like integrate and dissolve down and absorb into your cells, into your DNA, so that you truly can integrate and assimilate everything in a way that's going to inspire your life outside of this room in ways that you can't even imagine. So this is how I got to take my stilettos off for this. There's no way, unless I want to break something and fall off the stage, that we'll be able to do this. So this is a dynamic meditation practice that is technically a tantric practice. There are so many different tantric embodiment practices that was actually brought to the West from India because they noticed that it was very difficult to get Westerners who live these busy householder lives to like suddenly just be like, oh yes, I'm so zen. Let me just sit. Because, meditation is not something that you do. It's something that happens. It like rises in you. So it became obvious, oh wow, we have to do something to actually shake the energy like a snow globe so that we can settle in a new orientation. It's awkward on purpose because it's awkward for the mind. It's like, I want to keep everything in control. What the hell is happening? She's telling me to shake my body and breathe and do weird things and make sounds. Correct. I am going to ask you to do that. You don't have to do that, but it's going to be fun. Thank you for being my initiation to this new path and for your amazingness and receptivity, and Derek and Kylie and everyone, and Robin, oh my gosh, for putting this together and transforming this space in such an amazing way. I can feel what this is and what this is becoming. So nothing short of magic. Love you all. Thank you so much.